The lance corporal's hand shoots out, blocking the old woman at the VIP checkpoint. His palm faces forward like a traffic cop stopping a car that's run a red light. "Ma'am, immediate family with security clearance only." Dorothy Miller shifts the tin of homemade cookies to her left arm. The weight settles against her hip, exactly 2 pounds 4 ounces. Same weight as a loaded Beretta M9, though she doesn't let herself think about that. The graduation program crinkles in her pocket as she reaches for it. "I'm here for Private Miller. He's my grandson." The Marine barely glances up from his tablet. 22 years old, maybe 23, fresh chevrons on his collar. Behind him, 5 Force Recon Honor Guards practice their rifle spins in the morning heat. The stocks catch the light as they rotate. One fumbles the catch, the rifle wobbling before he recovers. "Not on this list." The lance corporal's finger scrolls down the screen without really looking. Dorothy watches the honor guard reset his grip. His thumb sits wrong against the wood. Too high, too much tension in the wrist. "Your grip's wrong," she says quietly. The words slip out before she can stop them. "Thumb parallel to the barrel." The honor guard turns. 6'2", chest full of ribbons that mean he's been places, done things. His eyes narrow at this small woman with graying hair pulled back in a messy bun. Loose curls framing a face marked by years, but still striking with high cheekbones and green eyes that catch the morning light. "Excuse me?" "Your rifle." The grip for ceremonial spin requires the thumb to run parallel. You're hooking it over. That's why you're losing control on the third rotation. The second lance corporal steps forward now, older than the first by maybe a year, more sure of himself. "Ma'am, this is a restricted area. VIPs and cleared family only. You need to move to general seating." Dorothy's feet slide apart without conscious thought, 18 inches exactly. Her hands find the small of her back, right over left, fingers straight. Parade rest. The position comes as natural as breathing, even after 20 years. The guards exchange glances. The younger one's mouth twitches. "Confused, Grandma," he mutters to his partner, not quite quiet enough. Probably watched too many Marine videos on YouTube. The tin of cookies weighs steady in her arm. She'd baked them at 3 a.m. this morning, unable to sleep, hands working the dough while her mind ran through memories she'd locked away. Chocolate chip with sea salt. Her husband Jack's recipe. The one he'd perfected during long nights at Firebase Viper, mixing MRE ingredients into something that almost tasted like home. Behind the guards, 1,000 Marines stand in perfect formation on the parade ground. The June sun already beats down hard on Camp Lejeune's dirt and concrete. Families fill the metal bleachers, programs fanning faces, water bottles passed down rows. The smell of fresh-cut grass mixes with boot polish and gun oil. Dorothy's breathing settles into a rhythm she hasn't used in 2 decades. 4 counts in, hold for 4. 4 counts out, hold for 4. The sniper's breathing. The rhythm that kept her alive through 47 confirmed kills and God knows how many unconfirmed. They have no idea who they just turned away. In 10 minutes, this entire battalion will stand at attention for a woman they just called confused. "Look, lady." The first lance corporal sets down his tablet. "I don't know what your story is, but you're not on the list. Those are the rules. General seating is that way." He points toward the far bleachers, the ones in direct sun, no shade, farthest from where the new Marines will stand. Dorothy doesn't move from parade rest. "I drove 14 hours from Tennessee to be here. Should have gotten your paperwork in order then." The Force Recon Honor Guard with the bad grip laughs. It's meant to sound friendly, but comes out dismissive. "Come on, Grandma. We've got a ceremony to run. Can't have civilians wandering around the VIP section. Security risk." Security risk. Dorothy almost smiles at that. She's been called a lot of things. The healer, angel of death, ghost, phantom, Watson's widow after Jack died. But never a security risk. Not by Marines who were probably in elementary school when she was putting rounds through insurgent skulls at 1,300 meters. "The wind's wrong for your color guard formation," she says instead of arguing. Her eyes track the flags on the parade ground. "Southeast at 12 knots, gusting to 15. Your pivot man needs to adjust his timing or the flags will tangle during the third movement." The honor guards stop their practice. All 5 turn to stare at her. The one with the bad grip takes a step forward. "Lady, we've been doing rifle drill since boot camp. We've performed for generals and senators. I think we know how to handle a little wind. Not with that grip, you don't. The words come out flat, matter of fact. The same tone she used to use when correcting junior operators at the farm, before everything went wrong. Before Jack's convoy hit the IED that wasn't supposed to be there because the intel was bad, and the source was compromised, and 40 good Marines died because someone in Langley didn't double-check their assets' loyalty. All right, that's enough. The second Lance Corporal reaches for his radio. Base security, this is Checkpoint Alpha. We have an elderly civilian causing a disruption at the VIP entrance. Request assistance for escort to general seating. The radio crackles back. Roger that, Checkpoint Alpha. Team en route. Dorothy's hand tightens slightly on the cookie tin. The metal is cool despite the heat. She had scratched their initials into the bottom years ago. DW and JM, with a heart between them like teenagers. Below that, in smaller letters, Beirut 03. Their last operation together before she got pregnant with Tommy, and they promised each other they'd get out, live normal lives, raise their family away from the blood and the sand and the constant weight of the rifle. They'd managed 3 years of normal before Jack re-enlisted. The Marines needed him, he said. His brothers needed him. He'd do one more tour, just one, and then he'd be done for good. He came home in a flag-draped box. Ma'am. A new voice, deeper, more authority. Dorothy turns to see a staff sergeant approaching, ceremony coordinator by the clipboard in his hand. I'm going to need you to come with me. I just want to see my grandson graduate. And you can, from general seating, like everyone else who didn't get security clearance. Behind him, the honor guards have gone back to their practice. The one with the bad grip fumbles again. This time the rifle hits the ground. The sound echoes across the parade ground like a shot. Dorothy moves without thinking. 3 quick steps. Her hand catches the rifle before it can bounce, fingers finding the exact balance point. She brings it up smooth, transfers it to inspection arms, then offers it back, grip first, in perfect ceremonial form. The honor guard takes it, his face red. I don't need... 3rd squad, 2nd platoon is missing someone, Dorothy says to the staff sergeant, cutting off the Marine. Her eyes have found the formation, counting automatically, reading the gaps. Right guide position. The staff sergeant frowns, checks his tablet. His frown deepens. How did you... But Dorothy has already turned away. An old master gunnery sergeant stands near the reviewing stand, watching her. 60-something, gray at the temples, the kind of deep-set wrinkles that come from too many years squinting through scope glass and desert sun. Their eyes meet across 30 yards of parade ground. He knows. She can see it in the way his posture shifts, the way his hand moves unconsciously to his hip where a sidearm would sit. He's seen that stance before, that breathing, that absolute stillness that only comes from years of waiting for the perfect shot. The security team arrives. 3 military police, all male, all young. They spread out in a casual triangle formation that's meant to look non-threatening but gives them clear lines of control. Ma'am, the lead MP says, we're going to need you to come with us. Dorothy doesn't resist as they flank her. No point making a scene, not yet. Private Miller, her grandson Ryan, is out there in formation somewhere. Probably already saw the commotion. Probably already embarrassed that his grandmother is being escorted away like some confused old woman who can't follow simple rules. If only he knew. If only any of them knew. The Force Recon honor guards have pulled out their phones. She can see them typing, probably posting to some group chat, making jokes about the confused grandma who thinks she knows rifle drill, who thinks she can read wind patterns, who stands at parade rest like she earned the right. Your pivot man's early by half a beat, she tells them as the MPs guide her past. Check your count. They ignore her, start their routine from the top. Sure enough, on the 3rd movement, the pivot man turns too soon. The Marine beside him compensates, but it throws off the whole line. One of the rifles drops again. This time Dorothy doesn't move to help. The MPs are already guiding her toward the parking lot, away from the ceremony, away from her grandson's big moment. I just wanted to see him graduate, she says quietly. Should have thought of that before causing problems, the lead MP responds. Not unkind, just doing his job, following protocol, following orders, like good Marines do, like Jack always did, right until the end. The master gunnery sergeant is moving now. Not fast, but purposeful, intercepting their path. Dorothy can tell from his gait that he's got a bad knee. Old injury, probably shrapnel. The way he favors it says motorcycle accident or IED. The slight roll of his shoulder says he's compensating for scar tissue. Hold up there, Corporal. The MPs stop. You don't ignore a Master Gunnery Sergeant, even if you're on escort duty. Something wrong, Master Guns? The lead MP asks. The old Marine's eyes haven't left Dorothy's face. He's studying her like a map, looking for landmarks, finding them in the set of her jaw, the stillness of her hands, the way she holds the cookie tin like it's precious cargo. Ma'am, he says slowly, that tin, the inscription, Beirut 03. Dorothy nods once, slight, controlled. Firebase Viper? Another nod. The Master Gunnery Sergeant's face goes very still. Tell me the grid coordinates. The MPs look confused, but Dorothy understands. This is a test. Authentication. The kind of challenge and response that isn't written in any manual, but passes between operators who've been to the places that don't officially exist. 33 Sierra November, Quebec, 42781352. The numbers come automatic, burned into memory like her own name. The coordinates of a firebase that was never supposed to be there, running operations that never happened, in a valley that doesn't appear on any maps. The Master Gunnery Sergeant goes pale beneath his tan. His hand actually trembles as he reaches for his phone. Master Guns? The lead MP looks concerned now. You all right? Let her go. Sir? I said let her go, Corporal, right now. But he's not looking at the MPs. He's typing something into his phone. Fast. Urgent. Dorothy can guess what he's searching for. A name. A legend. A ghost story that operators tell each other in the quiet hours between missions. Master Guns, we have orders to... Your orders just changed. His voice carries the kind of authority that comes from 30 years of service and knowing exactly how much weight his word carries. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez. The ceremony coordinator hurries over, clipboard clutched like a shield. Master Gunnery Sergeant. Check a name for me in your database, not the family list, the other one. Sir? The restricted database. The one that flags certain individuals. He looks at Dorothy again. Watson. Dorothy Watson. The staff sergeant's fingers move across his tablet. His face cycles through confusion, concentration, then shock. The tablet actually slips in his hands. Master Guns, this says... I know what it says. But that's impossible. She'd be 60 years old, give or take. The Master Gunnery Sergeant steps closer to Dorothy. You married Jack Miller, Marine sniper, 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. Dorothy's grip on the cookie tin tightens just slightly. Nobody's spoken Jack's name to her in 15 years. Even Tommy, her son, knows better than to bring up his father. That's ancient history, she says quietly. Nothing's ancient when it comes to Firebase Viper. He turns to the MPs. You boys know what you're looking at? They shake their heads, confused by the sudden shift in dynamics. You're looking at a legend, a ghost, someone who doesn't exist in any official record but has a star on the wall at Langley. He pauses. 5 stars, actually. The lead MP laughs nervously. Come on, Master Guns. She's just... Show them your arm. Dorothy goes very still. That's not necessary. Show them. It's not an order. She doesn't take orders anymore. Hasn't for 20 years. But there's something in his voice. Not challenge, recognition, respect. The kind that says, I know what you've carried all these years. Slowly, Dorothy shifts the cookie tin to her right arm. Her left hand moves to her sleeve. The cardigan is thin cotton, too warm for June in North Carolina, but necessary. Always necessary. Because underneath, she rolls the sleeve up to her elbow. The tattoo is faded but clear. A skull in perfect detail, sitting in the center of scope crosshairs. Below it, 5 stars in a perfect line. Each star represents 10 confirmed kills. The kind of kills that happen at distances most people can't even comprehend. The kind that save lives by taking them. The kind that leave marks on your soul darker than any ink. The MPs step back involuntarily. Everyone knows what that tattoo means, or thinks they do. Special operations. Elite sniper. The kind of person you tell stories about but never expect to meet. But the Master Gunnery Sergeant sees more. His eyes focus on the small letters beneath the stars. SAD. Special Activities Division. He looks up at Dorothy's face. You're not military. You're agency. Was, Dorothy corrects, rolling her sleeve back down. A lifetime ago. The radio on the lead MP's vest crackles. Checkpoint Alpha, this is Colonel Harrison. I'm getting some unusual alerts about a database flag. What's your situation? The MP looks at the master gunnery sergeant, then at Dorothy, then keys his radio. Sir, we have a situation. You might want to come here yourself. On my way. The parade ground has gone quiet. The honor guards have stopped practicing. Even from 50 yards away, Dorothy can see them staring. One has his phone out, zoomed in, probably caught the tattoo before she covered it. The healer, the master gunnery sergeant says quietly. That's what they called you. Because you'd take the shot, then patch up our wounded. Sniper and medic. Death and life in one package. Dorothy says nothing. The cookie tin feels heavier now. Beirut, Baghdad, Kandahar, Fallujah. He lists the cities like prayer. 47 confirmed, more unconfirmed. Then you disappeared, right after Master Sergeant Miller was killed in '05. KIA, Dorothy says automatically. Convoy hit an IED. Bad intel. Bad intel that came from a compromised source. 40 Marines dead because someone didn't verify their asset. The Master Gunnery Sergeant's voice carries old anger. Jack was a good man, a good Marine, the best. The Colonel arrives at a quick march. Full bird, chest full of ribbons, the kind of presence that makes everyone in the vicinity straighten up. He takes in the scene. The MPs, the Master Gunnery Sergeant, Dorothy standing calm in the middle of it all. Someone want to explain why my database is showing a level 5 restriction flag on a 60-year-old civilian? The Master Gunnery Sergeant points at Dorothy's arm. Show him. I've shown enough. Ma'am, the Colonel says, and there's something different in his tone now. Not dismissive, careful. I need to verify your identity. Protocol. Dorothy meets his eyes, sees a professional soldier doing his job, the kind who follows rules because rules keep people alive. Usually. She rolls up her sleeve again. The Colonel's eyes track the tattoo, the skull, the crosshairs, the 5 stars. His face goes through the same progression as everyone else's. Confusion, recognition, disbelief. That's not possible, he says finally. The only operators authorized for that marking were 5 people, Dorothy finishes. Johnson, killed in Somalia, 99. Peterson, died in Afghanistan, '02. Williams, training accident, '04. Kowalski, still active last I heard, and me. You're Dorothy Watson. Miller, Dorothy Miller now. The Colonel pulls out his phone, not the standard issue one, a different one, encrypted. He makes a call, turns away, speaks quietly. Dorothy can't hear the words, but she recognizes the tone. Verification, authentication, chain of command going up levels most people don't know exist. While he talks, the Master Gunnery Sergeant moves closer. Your grandson, he doesn't know? Dorothy shakes her head. Nobody knows. That was the deal. I disappear, they leave my family alone. They? People with long memories and longer reach. Jack made enemies. I made more. The Colonel finishes his call, turns back. His entire demeanor has changed. Mrs. Miller, I've just spoken with, well, it doesn't matter who. Your credentials are verified. He pauses. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to come with me. I'm not going anywhere except to watch my grandson graduate. That's what I mean. You'll be watching from the reviewing stand, with me and the general. He glances at the MPs. These men will escort you. As an honor guard, not security. The MPs look like they've been hit with a stunner. The lead one actually stammers. Sir, we couldn't have known. Stand easy, Corporal. You did your job. The Colonel looks at the Force Recon honor guards, who are still watching from across the parade ground. Though it seems you all could have done it with more respect. Dorothy follows his gaze, sees the honor guard with the bad grip, the one who called her grandma like it was an insult. He's lowering his phone now, probably just posted something he's already regretting. They're young, she says. They don't know any better. They should. That's why we train them. The Colonel starts walking toward the reviewing stand. Master Guns, have Private Miller report to the command post after the ceremony. Sir? Dorothy stops. Why? So he can meet his grandmother, the real one, not the cover story you've been living for 20 years. The parade ground is filling now, families streaming in from the parking lots, the band setting up. The color guard. Dorothy was right about the wind. They're adjusting their positions, taking their marks. In the formation, somewhere in those perfect rows of new Marines, her grandson stands at attention, probably wondering why his grandmother got escorted away by security. He's better off not knowing, Dorothy says. That's not your call anymore, ma'am. The moment you showed up here, the moment that flag hit the system, protocols activated. People are asking questions. The kind of people whose questions demand answers. They reach the reviewing stand. Prime position, shade from the canopy, cushioned chairs, perfect view of the entire ceremony. The kind of spot reserved for generals and VIPs and people who matter in ways the public never sees. Dorothy sets the cookie tin on the small table beside her chair. The inscription catches the light. D.W. plus J.M. Beirut. 03. Your husband, the colonel says, noticing. I read his file. Hell of a Marine. He was. And you, hell of an operator. Was. The colonel studies her. Dorothy can feel him cataloging details. The way she sits, back straight, even in the cushioned chair. The way her eyes track movement across the parade ground, automatically noting positions, angles, threats that aren't there but could be. The way her breathing stays steady, controlled, even though her world just cracked open. We could use someone like you, he says carefully. Training, consulting, the new generation, they think they know everything because they've got better tech, fancier gear. They don't understand that the fundamentals never change. The breathing, the patience, the ability to wait for days for one perfect shot. I'm done with that life. Are you? Then why keep the tattoo? Why keep the tin with the inscription? Why stand at parade rest like you never left? Dorothy doesn't answer, can't answer, because the truth is complicated in ways that would take longer than a graduation ceremony to explain. The band strikes up, the ceremony beginning. She watches the honor guard take their positions. The one with the bad grip has fixed his stance. Someone must have corrected him. Maybe her words sank in after all. There, the colonel points to the formation. 3rd Battalion, India Company, 2nd Platoon, 4th rank, 6th from the left, Private Ryan Miller. Dorothy's eyes find him instantly, her grandson, tall like Jack, but with her green eyes. Even from this distance she can tell. The same determined set to his jaw, the same slight forward lean like he's ready to charge even while standing still. He's got good bearing, the colonel observes. Natural warrior stance. It's in the blood. His father tried to keep him from enlisting, wanted him to go to college, be an accountant or something safe. Your son knows what you were? He knows I worked for the government. He knows his father died in Iraq. That's all he needs to know. The color guard advances. Dorothy was right about the wind. The adjusted timing works perfectly. The flags snap in synchronized precision. Beautiful and terrible, like everything military. All that controlled violence channeled into ceremony. Her phone buzzes. She glances at it. Unknown number. Text message. We know you're there. Her blood doesn't cold. Her breathing doesn't change. 20 years of hiding, and it was always going to end this way. The moment she decided to come here, to step into the light, even for just one day, she knew the risk. Another text. Beautiful grandson. Shame if something happened during his first deployment. The colonel notices her looking at her phone. Problem? Old ghosts. The kind that need handling? Dorothy deletes the messages. The kind that never really die. The graduation proceeds with military precision. Awards announced. Honors given. The top Marine of each platoon called forward. Private Miller isn't among them, but he stands tall, proud, part of something bigger than himself. The way Jack used to stand. The way she used to, back when she believed in causes and countries and chains of command. The master gunnery sergeant has joined them on the reviewing stand. He leans over. Ma'am, that trouble you were worried about, the reason you disappeared, it's found you, hasn't it? Dorothy nods once. Need help? Not your fight, Master Guns. All due respect, ma'am, but any fight involving someone who served at Firebase Viper is my fight. We lost too many good people to let the bad ones win now. The ceremony continues. Speeches about honor, courage, commitment, the Marine Corps values. Everything these young warriors are supposed to embody. Dorothy watches her grandson absorb it all, sees him buying into the mythology the same way Jack did, the same way she did once upon a time. The Force Recon Honor Guards perform their rifle demonstration. The one who'd fumbled before executes perfectly now, his grip exactly where Dorothy told him it should be. He catches her eye as he spins, nods slightly, an acknowledgement, an apology, maybe. The company commander steps to the podium. Today, these Marines join a brotherhood that stretches back to 1775. They stand on the shoulders of giants, heroes whose names we know and many whose names we'll never know, operators who worked in shadow to keep our nation safe, warriors who gave everything and asked for nothing in return. Dorothy feels eyes on her, not just the colonel and master gunnery sergeant, others. Some of the senior NCOs have noticed her now, word spreading the way it does in the military. Whispers and glances and that electric feeling when people realize they're in the presence of something legendary. Her phone buzzes again. This time it's a photo. Her son Tommy at his job site in Tennessee. Taken this morning from the looks of it, he doesn't know he's being photographed. Doesn't know he's in crosshairs. "Colonel," she says quietly, "I need to make a call. Use my office. Master Guns will show you." But Dorothy doesn't move. Not yet. Because down on the parade ground, they're calling names. New Marines crossing the platform, receiving their certificates, officially graduating. The families cheer each name. Private Ryan Miller. Her grandson steps forward, crosses the platform with perfect bearing, takes his certificate, salutes, and then, for just a moment, his eyes search the crowd. Looking for her, looking for the grandmother who was supposed to be here but got escorted away for causing trouble. Dorothy stands. The movement draws attention. Ryan's eyes find her on the reviewing stand, confusion clear even from this distance. Who is this woman standing with the colonel? Why is she there instead of general seating? She raises her hand. Not a wave, a salute. Crisp, perfect. The kind that comes from muscle memory so deep it might as well be carved in bone. Ryan's confusion deepens, but he returns the salute automatically. Then he's moving off the platform, making room for the next Marine. "I'll make that call now," Dorothy tells the colonel. She follows the master gunnery sergeant to the command building. Her phone rings before they get there. Unknown number again. She answers. "It's been 20 years. I thought we had a deal." The voice on the other end is older now, but still recognizable. Maxim, Russian, former Spetsnaz. The arms dealer Jack's team was hunting when everything went wrong. Deals change, healer. You surface. You become active player again. "I'm watching my grandson graduate, that's all." With 5 stars on your arm and colonel at your side. This is not babushka at ceremony. This is operator returning to game. The game's over, Maxim. Game is never over. You killed my brother. 1,300 meters, Kandahar, December 2004. You remember? She remembers. The shot through 3 windows in a dust storm. The kind of shot that shouldn't have been possible. But she made it. Because that's what she did. The impossible. The necessary. The unforgivable. Your brother was about to execute 6 Marines. My brother was soldier, like your husband, following orders. You think this makes you hero? Dorothy doesn't answer. Heroes don't have 47 confirmed kills. Heroes don't have 5 stars tattooed on their arms. Heroes don't spend 20 years hiding from the ghosts they created. Here is New Deal, Maxim continues. You come back, work for me. Your family stays safe. Counteroffer. You forget you found me. You forget my family exists, or I finish what Jack started. Maxim laughs. You are 60-year-old grandmother. I have army. I'm a 60-year-old grandmother who made impossible shots when I was younger and slower. You want to test what I can do now? Silence on the line. Then, you have 1 week to consider. Then I make example. Perhaps young Marine grandson, perhaps construction worker son. You choose. The line goes dead. The master gunnery sergeant has been waiting, pretending not to listen. That sounded like trouble. The kind that gets people killed. Need help? Dorothy looks at him. This warrior in his 60s, bad knee and scarred shoulder, still ready to fight battles that aren't his. You don't even know me. I know Firebase Viper. I know 5 stars. I know anyone who survived that life deserves to live in peace. He pauses. I also know we don't always get what we deserve. They reach the command building. The colonel's office is standard military. Flags, awards, photos of units and operations. Dorothy's eyes catch one photo in particular. Fallujah, 2004. She's in it, though you'd have to know where to look. Just a shadow on a rooftop, barely visible, but there. Her phone buzzes. Another photo. This time Ryan, her grandson, in his dress blues, unaware he's being watched. 20 years of hiding. 20 years of being nobody. A grandmother who bakes cookies and lives quietly in Tennessee, and never talks about the weight of the rifle or the sound it makes when a round finds its mark at maximum range. But they found her anyway, because sharks smell blood in the water from miles away. And she's been bleeding for 20 years. She just got good at hiding it. "Master Guns," she says, "I need you to do something for me. Name it. Keep an eye on my grandson, just for today. Make sure he stays safe until I can figure this out. You're going after them. It's not a question." He can see it in her posture, the way she's already shifted from grandmother to operator. The way her eyes have gone cold and calculating, measuring distances and angles and probabilities. "I'm going to finish what should have been finished 20 years ago." Alone, Dorothy notices the young corporal checking his phone between formations. A veterans benefits app showing unclaimed disability compensation alerts, the kind her generation never knew existed. Modern solutions to old problems. Technology filling gaps that used to destroy lives. "I've always worked alone. Not at Firebase Viper. You had a spotter then. You had Jack." The name hits like a physical blow. Jack. Who made her laugh in the middle of hell? Who could read wind better than anyone she'd ever met? Who died because someone in Langley didn't double-check their intelligence and 40 Marines paid the price? Jack's gone. But others aren't. There's a network, Mrs. Miller. Veterans who remember. Operators who've retired but haven't forgotten. One call and you'd have backup. This isn't their fight, isn't it? Maxim Volkov has been on everyone's list for 2 decades. Arms dealer, terrorist facilitator, the man who supplies anyone willing to pay. How many American service members have died because of weapons he sold? Too many. Dorothy knows the number, actually. Has kept track. 342 confirmed. Probably triple that in reality. The graduation ceremony is ending. She can hear the band playing the Marines' hymn. Her grandson is out there, celebrating with his brothers, thinking he's starting a grand adventure. Not knowing his grandmother once held the record for longest confirmed kill. Not knowing his grandfather died because of the man now threatening their family. Not knowing any of it. Maybe that's for the best. "Take me back," she tells the master gunnery sergeant. "I need to see him. Just once, in case." "You're coming back, ma'am. Whatever you're planning, you're coming back." Dorothy doesn't answer. Can't make that promise. 20 years ago, she was the best. Now she's 60 with arthritis in her trigger finger and glasses she needs for anything closer than 100 yards. The muscle memory is still there, but the muscles themselves. They walk back to the parade ground. The formation is breaking up. New Marines finding their families, cameras flashing, tears and hugs and pride everywhere. Dorothy spots Ryan near the barracks, looking for her, probably wondering if she left. "Private Miller," the master gunnery sergeant calls out. Ryan turns, sees the rank, snaps to attention. "Yes, master gunnery sergeant." "At ease, Marine. Your grandmother wants to speak with you." Ryan's eyes find Dorothy. The confusion from earlier is back. "Grandma, why were you on the reviewing stand?" "It's complicated, sweetheart. The colonel said you were supposed to report to the command post after this," the master gunnery sergeant adds. "Something about your grandmother being special." Ryan looks between them. "I don't understand." Dorothy reaches into the cookie tin, pulls out a wrapped package. "These are for you, your grandfather's recipe. Grandpa Jack? The only one you had." She hands him the cookies. "Ryan, there are things about our family. Things I never told you or your father. Things I hoped I'd never have to tell." "What kind of things?" Behind Ryan, his fellow Marines are starting to notice. The master gunnery sergeant standing with them. The way other senior NCOs keep glancing over. The whispers starting. "The kind that change everything," Dorothy says. Her phone buzzes. Another message from Maxim. A countdown timer. 167 hours, 59 minutes. 1 week minus 1 minute. The time she has before he makes good on his threat. "Private Miller," the colonel's voice cuts through the growing crowd. He's approached with 2 staff officers flanking him. "You're to report to the command post immediately." Ryan stiffens to attention. "Sir?" "Yes, sir." "At ease, Marine." The colonel's eyes shift to Dorothy. "Your grandmother will be joining us." The Force Recon Honor Guards have gathered near the flagpole, still in their ceremonial positions, but watching. The one with the bad grip, Lance Corporal Stevens, according to his name tape, keeps glancing at his phone, then at Dorothy, then back at his phone. Whatever he posted earlier has probably gone viral in their unit group chat by now. "Colonel Harrison," Dorothy says quietly, This isn't necessary. I can handle my situation privately. With respect, ma'am, the moment your name flagged our system, this became official business. He lowers his voice. Besides, there are protocols for operators of your caliber, especially ones receiving active threats. Ryan's head swivels. Active threats? Grandma, what's going on? The master gunnery sergeant steps forward. Private, your grandmother needs to brief you on some classified information. This way. They move as a group toward the command building. Dorothy can feel eyes tracking them. Not just the young Marines who don't understand why a grandmother is getting command-level attention. The older ones, too. The sergeants and staff sergeants and gunnery sergeants who've heard whispers of legends, who know what 5 stars means, who understand that some warriors don't wear uniforms. As they pass the honor guards, Stephen steps forward. Ma'am, Not now, Lance Corporal. The colonel cuts him off. But Dorothy stops, looks at the young Marine, 23, maybe 24, full of pride and certainty and the absolute conviction that he knows how the world works. You fixed your grip, she observes. He flushes red. Yes, ma'am. After you. What you said about the thumb position, it worked. Good. Remember it for next time. Stephen swallows hard. Ma'am, what I posted earlier, about you being confused, I deleted it, but screenshots last forever. Dorothy's voice carries no anger, just fact. Lesson learned, Marine, never underestimate anyone, especially in this business. They continue walking. Behind them, Dorothy hears Stevens' squad leader already starting the conversation that will become his counseling session, his formal apology, his reminder about respect and bearing, and not judging books by their covers. The command post is air-conditioned, a blessing after the June heat. The colonel's office has been cleared except for essential personnel. A secure laptop sits open on the desk, showing files that shouldn't exist, photos from operations that never happened, reports with more black redaction marks than visible text. Grandma, Ryan starts, but the colonel holds up a hand. First, Private Miller, I need you to understand that what you're about to learn is classified, not the kind of classified that gets declassified in 25 years. The kind that stays buried forever. The only reason you're being read in is because your safety may depend on it. Ryan looks at Dorothy. Grandma, you worked for the government. Dad told me. Some kind of analyst job, right? Dorothy sits down, suddenly feeling every one of her 60 years. Not exactly, sweetheart. The colonel turns the laptop toward Ryan. Your grandmother was CIA Special Activities Division, combined sniper and combat medic. 47 confirmed kills at ranges exceeding 1,000 meters. Medical saves under fire that earned her a nickname among the team she supported. The healer, the master gunnery sergeant adds, because she could take life or save it with equal precision. Ryan stares at the screen, at photos of his grandmother 20 years younger, face painted in camouflage, rifle that costs more than most people's cars cradled in her arms like she was born to it, which, in a way, she was. This can't be real. Dorothy rolls up her sleeve again, shows him the tattoo properly this time, the skull and crosshairs, the 5 stars, the small letters underneath that mark her as something beyond military, beyond normal, beyond anything he's ever imagined. Your grandfather knew, she says softly. He was my spotter for 3 years before you dad was born. We thought we could leave that life behind, raise a family, be normal. Grandpa Jack was a Marine sniper. Dad told me that much. One of the best, until bad intelligence got his convoy ambushed. 40 Marines died that day, including your grandfather. Ryan's face cycles through emotions. Shock, confusion, something that might be pride, something that might be fear. Why didn't you tell us? Because the people responsible for your grandfather's death, the ones who sold the weapons, who provided the intel, who set the trap, they have long memories. As long as I stayed dead, stayed invisible, you and your father were safe. The colonel's phone buzzes. He checks it, frowns. Ma'am, we've got movement. 3 vehicles approaching the base's secondary gate. They pinged facial recognition. Russian nationals, all with Interpol flags. Maxim's being bold, Dorothy observes. He wants me to know he can reach anyone, anywhere. Who's Maxim? Ryan asks. Maxim Volkov, arms dealer. Arms, terrorist facilitator. The man who ordered the ambush that killed your grandfather, though we could never prove it in court. Dorothy stands, moves to the window. 3 black SUVs idle at the checkpoint 500 meters away. He found me, wants me to work for him, or he'll target our family. That's not happening, the colonel states flatly. This base is sovereign U.S. territory. We have protocols for this. Your protocols don't stop sniper rounds from 2,000 meters, Colonel, or IEDs planted 3 months in advance, or poisoned letters sent to construction sites in Tennessee. Dorothy turns from the window. This is my fight. It always has been. Ryan stands abruptly. No, you're 60 years old. You're my grandmother. You bake cookies and forget where you put your reading glasses. I'm 60 years old with 47 confirmed trials and skills that don't fade just because I stopped using them. She looks at her grandson in his dress blues, so young, so certain that good defeats evil, because that's what they teach at boot camp. Ryan, sit down. There's more you need to know. But before she can continue, the Master Gunnery Sergeant's radio crackles. Master Guns, we have a situation at the parade ground. Those honor guards are requesting to speak with Colonel Harrison's guest. They say it's urgent. The colonel sighs. Now what? They return to the parade ground as a group. The 5 Force Recon Marines stand at attention, despite the ceremony being over. Stevens holds something in his hand, an old photo, yellowed at the edges. Sir, Stevens addresses the colonel, but his eyes are on Dorothy. We searched after we realized who she is. This was in the base archives, declassified last year. He holds out the photo. Dorothy takes it with steady hands, though her heart isn't steady at all. It's Firebase Viper, December 2003. She recognizes the mountains in the background, the improvised fortifications, the tired faces of Marines who have been in country too long. And there, in the corner, almost out of frame, herself and Jack. She's cleaning her rifle while he plots wind charts. You can barely see their faces, but she knows that day. 3 hours after this photo was taken, she made a shot through a sandstorm that shouldn't have been possible, saved an entire patrol from an ambush. My grandfather took this photo, Stevens says quietly. Staff Sergeant Robert Stevens. He was part of the patrol you saved that day. The other honor guards shift slightly, the formal posture breaking just enough to show their discomfort. He talked about it until the day he died, Stevens continues. The ghost sniper who could shoot through walls. The angel who patched him up after he took shrapnel. He never knew your name. Nobody did. You were just legend. Dorothy hands the photo back. Your grandfather was a good Marine. He held the perimeter for 3 hours with a collapsed lung, refused evacuation until everyone else was out. He said an angel kept him breathing, showed him how to seal the wound with MRE packaging and 100-mile-an-hour tape. Not an angel, just someone who had seen too many boys die from wounds that didn't have to be fatal. Stevens drops to one knee, not military protocol, something older, something personal. Ma'am, I'm sorry. For earlier, for the disrespect. If I'd known... Stand up, Marine. Dorothy's voice carries the same authority it did when she was calling shots for teams in places America wasn't supposed to be. You don't kneel, not to me, not to anyone. Your grandfather didn't hold that perimeter so his grandson could kneel. Stevens rises, eyes bright with unshed tears he won't let fall in front of his brothers. But you will learn from this, Dorothy continues, addressing all 5 of them now. Every person you meet has a story. Every veteran you dismiss might be someone who saved lives you'll never know about. Every old woman at a checkpoint might have more confirmed curses than your entire battalion combined. Respect isn't given based on what you can see. It's given because you don't know what you can't see. Yes, ma'am, they chorus. Dorothy's phone buzzes. New message, new photo. This one is live, real time. The 3 SUVs have moved. They're positioned at 3 different points around the base. Triangulation positions, sniper hides. The colonel notices her checking. Ma'am? They're setting up. 3 positions, standard Soviet doctrine sniper placement. She calculates angles in her head, a skill that comes back like riding a bicycle. Northwest Tower has exposure to the parade ground. Eastern Maintenance Building can see the barracks. Southern approach covers the main gate. I'll lock down the base, the colonel says immediately. No, that tells them we're aware. Right now, they think they have advantage. Dorothy looks at the sun, calculates time. A Maxim gave me a week. He won't move before then. This is just showing me he can. So, what do we do? Dorothy turns to the Master Gunnery Sergeant. You mentioned a network, retired operators who remember. Yes, ma'am. Make the call, but not for protection. She looks at Ryan, her grandson, standing tall in his dress blues with his whole life ahead of him. Then at Stevens, carrying his grandfather's legacy. At all these young Marines who deserve to grow old enough to have their own grandchildren. For elimination. The colonel clears his throat. Ma'am, I can't officially sanction. You're not. I'm a civilian. A grandmother visiting her grandson. Whatever happens off base isn't your jurisdiction. Grandma, Ryan protests, you can't just... I can. I have. I will again if necessary. She pulls out her phone, scrolls through 20 years of hidden contacts. Names nobody would recognize, but everyone in certain circles fears. Maxim thinks I've gone soft. Thinks 20 years of baking cookies and attending PTA meetings has dulled the edge. He's about to learn that muscle memory doesn't fade, and neither does the anger of a widow whose husband's killer is still breathing. The master gunnery sergeant makes his calls. Within 10 minutes, Dorothy's phone starts ringing. Numbers from Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, California. Voices she hasn't heard in 20 years. Operators who disappeared into suburban life just like her. Soccer moms who once could field strip an M4 blindfolded. Accountants who used to calculate wind drift for shots over a mile long. Insurance salesmen who still wake up at 3 a.m. because that's when the raids always happened. Dorothy Watson, the voice on the speakerphone is gravelly, aged. Thought you were dead. Miller now. And same to you, Kowalski. Heard you got a Maxim problem. Word travels fast. Word travels when someone threatens one of ours. Even retired ones. Especially retired ones. A pause. I can have 6 shooters at your location in 4 hours. No, this stays small, surgical, the way we used to do it. You sure you're up for it? We're not 30 anymore. Dorothy looks at her hands, steady as rock despite everything. I made my best shots in my 40s. I think I've got one more in me. What do you need? Dorothy doesn't look at the colonel. She knows better than to ask an officer to commit a felony. She looks at the master gunnery sergeant. I need access, just for 5 minutes. The colonel interrupts, his voice sharp. Absolutely not. I cannot and will not authorize a civilian to access the armory. That is a court-martial offense. He checks his watch, speaking loudly. In fact, I have a mandatory briefing at headquarters in 5 minutes. I won't be here to stop anyone from doing anything stupid. But if I find out military property was stolen, I will have to report it. He gives Dorothy a hard look. A warning masked as protocol, then turns on his heel and marches away. Plausible deniability. He's right, the master gunnery sergeant says quietly once the colonel is gone. I can't let you in, Dorothy. There are cameras, logs. I don't need you to let me in, Dorothy says, her eyes already scanning the building across the lot. I just need you to tell me which rifle case is slated for decommissioning today. Case 4B. Shipment pending. It's sitting near the loading dock door. The master guns hesitates. The armory sergeant is new. Stickler for rules. He never leaves his post. Everyone leaves their post eventually, Dorothy murmurs. She watches the young sergeant inside the armory through the reinforced glass window. He's typing on his phone, bored. Ryan, walk with me. They leave the master guns and approach the side of the armory building. Not the door, the blind spot near the HVAC units. Grandma, you can't just break into a military armory, Ryan whispers, looking around nervously. This is insanity. Watch, she commands. Inside, the young sergeant stands up. He stretches, looks at the clock on the wall, 12:58, and picks up a sandwich bag. He walks to the keypad on the inner secure door, punches in a code, and exits to the break room in the back. Did you see it? Dorothy asks. See what? He went to lunch. The keypad, 4 digits. He favored the upper corners. First digit was a 7 or a 9. Last was definitely a 1. She closes her eyes, replaying the movement of the sergeant's shoulder muscles she observed from 20 yards away. 7, 3, 9, 1. You got the code by watching his shoulder move? Muscle memory works both ways, sweetheart. Dorothy moves to the side door, the loading dock entrance. It has an electronic lock. She doesn't have a key card, but she spots the magnetic sensor is slightly misaligned, a common maintenance failure in old base buildings. She pulls a stiff metal nail file from her purse. Grandma, seriously? Maintenance is overdue on this sector. I saw the work order on the colonel's desk. She slides the file into the gap, wiggles it to trigger the magnetic read switch, a trick as old as the Cold War. Click. The light turns green. Wait here, she orders. No way. Ryan follows her in. 30 seconds later, they are inside the cool, oil-smelling air of the armory. Dorothy moves past racks of modern M27s and M4s without a glance. She goes straight to the pending disposal cage. The padlock here is a joke, a standard master lock. She uses 2 hairpin picks she pulled from her bun. The lock clicks open in 4 seconds. Inside case 4B, the M40A5 sits in its foam cutout like an old friend waiting to be visited. Technically trash, practically lethal. Dorothy runs her hands over it. The weight is familiar, perfect. Her hands find their positions without thought. It's like riding a bicycle, she murmurs. A bicycle that kills people at 2,000 meters, Ryan says shakily. 2,200 with the right ammunition. She checks the scope, makes minor adjustments. Her fingers remember every dial, every click, every subtle resistance that means the difference between a hit and a miss. Your grandfather could call wind better than anyone I ever met. He'd look at leaves half a mile away and tell me exactly how many clicks to adjust. How do you do it without him? Dorothy smiles sadly. I hear his voice. Every shot I ever took after he died, I heard him whisper the corrections. 2 clicks left, dot, 1 up. Send it. She finds ammunition, match grade, the kind that costs more per round than most people spend on dinner. 5 rounds. She only needs 1, but her trainer always said take 5. 1 to fire, 4 for insurance. What's the plan? Ryan asks. No plan. Plans are for people who have time to think. This is instinct. They exit the armory. The master gunnery sergeant is waiting with a set of car keys. Motor pool won't notice this missing for a few hours. It's a standard civilian pickup, the kind that blends in everywhere. Dorothy sets the rifle case in the back, covered with a tarp. I'm coming with you, Ryan says. No. You need a spotter. You're not trained? Then talk me through it, the way Grandpa would have. His green eyes, so like hers, carry determination that won't be argued with. You said it yourself. This is family business. Grandpa's gone. Dad doesn't know. That leaves me. Dorothy sees Jack in him. The same stubborn set to his jaw, the same refusal to let someone face danger alone, the same protective instinct that gets Marines killed and makes them heroes in the same breath. Get in. They drive off base through the secondary gate. The guards don't stop them, don't check them. The colonel has made sure of that. Officially, nothing is happening. Unofficially, everyone knows exactly what's happening. Dorothy notices the young officer checking his phone. An online military history certification program advertisement pops up, designed to preserve operational knowledge that would otherwise disappear with veterans like her. Modern times, modern solutions. But some problems require old-fashioned answers. The first position is the water tower north of base. Maxim's man has been there for maybe an hour. Not long enough to get fully settled, but long enough to get comfortable, complacent. Dorothy parks 800 meters away, behind a maintenance shed. Wind? She asks Ryan. He looks at the flags on nearby buildings, the way grass moves, the pattern of dust. Maybe 5 knots from the southwest? 7 knots from the south-southwest. Watch the mirage, not just the physical indicators. She sets up the rifle, lies prone behind it. The position is terrible, gravel digging into her elbows, sun in her face, no proper support. But she's shot from worse. Call the target. Ryan pulls out binoculars from the truck's glove compartment, finds the water tower. I see him, prone, facing the base. He's got a rifle. Type? I don't know. It's big. Color of the stock? Black. No, wait, dark brown. Dragunov, Russian surplus. Effective to about 1,200 meters with a good shooter. We're at 800, well within his range if he spots us. Dorothy adjusts her scope, finds the target. He's exactly where she expected. Russians train their snipers in patterns, and patterns are predictable. Distance? 800 meters? 843. The rangefinder in your binoculars has a readout. Right, 843. Dorothy makes adjustments, minute clicks that account for distance, wind, humidity, the Earth's rotation. Everything matters at this range. Grandma, if you shoot him, won't the police? I'm not going to shoot him. She shifts slightly, finds her natural point of aim. I'm going to send a message. She breathes. 4 counts in, hold for 4. The crosshairs settle on the rifle scope of the enemy sniper. Not his head, not his chest, his scope. The shot that says I could have killed you, but chose not to. Yet. 4 counts out, hold for 4. Between heartbeats, in that perfect moment of stillness, she squeezes. The rifle kicks. The sound follows a split second later. Through her scope, she watches the enemy sniper's scope explode in a shower of glass and metal. He jerks back, probably cut by fragments, definitely understanding the message. Holy... Ryan catches himself. You hit his scope from 800 meters. 8:43. Dorothy works the bolt, chambers another round. Watch him. The sniper is scrambling now, rolling away from his position, reaching for his radio. He'll be calling Maxime, reporting that someone took a shot. That someone could have killed him, but chose to destroy his equipment instead. Dorothy's phone rings. Unknown number. Maxime, she answers. That was unnecessary. That was a warning, 1 of 3. Your man at the eastern position gets the same treatment in 10 minutes. The southern position in 20. You cannot be everywhere, healer. I don't have to be. I just have to be somewhere you don't expect. She hands the phone to Ryan, starts packing up the rifle. Besides, I'm not alone. As if on cue, the sound of another rifle echoes from the east. Then another from the south. Different calibers, different ranges, but the same message. Kowalski, Maxime's voice carries the first hint of uncertainty. Ann Patterson, Ann Chen, Ann Williams's widow. Turns out she inherited his skills along with his rifle. Dorothy takes the phone back. We're not all dead, Maxime. We just got good at pretending. This changes nothing. You have 1 week. No, you have 1 hour. 1 hour to pull your men back. 1 hour to leave the country. 1 hour before we stop shooting scopes and start shooting skulls. You wouldn't. You've gone soft. 20 years of civilian life. Dorothy hangs up. Dials another number. Dorothy? Kowalski's voice is warm. Nice shooting. You too, though you pulled left a bit. Arthritis, I compensated. Where's Patterson? En route to the airport. Maxime has a plane waiting. Gulfstream. Tail number November 477 Alpha. Williams's widow? Tracking his vehicles. He's got a 3-car convoy heading north on I-95. She's paralleling on Route 17. Dorothy checks her watch. Ryan, drive. They switch positions. Dorothy guides him through back roads, old paths she studied on satellite images 20 years ago and never forgot, because forgetting isn't something snipers do. Every range, every angle, every possible shot, it all stays filed away, waiting. Where are we going? Ryan asks. Intersection of Route 47 and Old Mill Road. Maxime has to pass through there to reach the airport. How do you know? Because I've been planning his death for 20 years. Every Tuesday, I'd look at maps. Every Thursday, I'd check satellite images. Every Sunday, while your father thought I was at book club, I was at the range 40 miles away, practicing shots I hoped I'd never have to take. Ryan's hands tighten on the wheel. You've been preparing for this the whole time? I've been preparing to protect you the whole time. This is just the final step. They reach the intersection. Dorothy sets up on a small hill, concealed by tall grass and forgotten by development. The position offers clear sight lines for 900 meters in 3 directions. Perfect. Call it, she tells Ryan. He spots the convoy first. 3 black SUVs, moving fast but not recklessly. 2 miles out. Dorothy settles behind the rifle. The math runs automatically in her head. Speed of vehicles, wind compensation, lead distance. The shot that has to be perfect because there won't be a second chance. Grandma, if you kill him, I'm not going to kill him. She adjusts her scope. Death is too easy, too quick. He needs to live with what comes next. The convoy approaches. Dorothy tracks the middle vehicle. Maxime always rides in the middle. Old habits from the Soviet days. Through her scope, she can see him in the back seat. Phone to his ear, probably coordinating his retreat. She shifts her aim to the front tire, then to the engine block, then to something more specific, more surgical, more permanent. The shot is 1,100 meters, at the edge of possible for this rifle with this ammunition, but she's made harder shots, in worse conditions, with more at stake. Wind? She asks. 9 knots from the south. Good, you're learning. She makes final adjustments. Tell me about your graduation. What? Talk to me about graduating, about becoming a Marine, about anything except what I'm about to do. Ryan understands. She needs his voice the way she used to need Jack's. an anchor to humanity while she does something inhuman. It was hot, he begins. Hotter than I expected. And when they called my name, I looked for you. I wanted you to see, to be proud. I am proud, even though I'm following in Grandpa's footsteps, even though it might end the same way. Dorothy breathes. 4 in, hold. Especially because of that. 4 out, hold. Between heartbeats, she fires. The round travels for 1.3 seconds. In that time, Dorothy thinks of Jack, of their son Tommy, safe in Tennessee, of Ryan in his dress blues, of cookies cooling on kitchen counters and grandchildren not yet born, and all the normal life she's fought to preserve. The bullet strikes exactly where she aimed. Not Maxim, not the driver, the briefcase in Maxim's lap, the one containing his laptop, his contacts, his entire network. The round penetrates the case, destroys the hard drive, exits through the floor of the vehicle. The convoy screeches to a halt. Maxim erupts from the vehicle, looking around wildly, the destroyed briefcase smoking in his hands. His empire, his connections, his lifetime of carefully cultivated criminal enterprise, gone in a single shot. Dorothy's phone rings. You missed, Maxim snarls. I never miss. Check your accounts. She can hear him fumbling with another phone, trying to access his finances. The confusion when nothing works, when every account shows 0, when every contact returns disconnected, when every safe house shows compromised. Patterson used to work cyber warfare, Dorothy explains calmly. While you were focused on me, she was destroying you digitally. Every account, every contact, every resource. You're broke, Maxim. And more importantly, you're marked. Every intelligence agency in the world just got an anonymous package with your location, your biometrics, and evidence of every crime you've committed in the last 30 years. I'm a grandmother. I bake cookies. I forget where I put my reading glasses. She pauses. And I just destroyed everything you ever built without killing a single person. Because death would be mercy, and you don't deserve mercy. You deserve to live with nothing. Like I did after Jack died. Like the families of every Marine you helped kill. Through the scope, she watches Maxim throw the phone, watches him scream at his men, watches him realize that he's not just defeated, but erased. Prison will be safe for you, she continues. Solitary confinement, 23 hours a day alone with your thoughts. With the knowledge that a 60-year-old grandmother ended you. That's your fate, Maxim, not death. Irrelevance. She hangs up, starts packing the rifle. Is it over? Ryan asks. Almost. They return to Camp Lejeune as the sun bleeds orange over the parade ground. It's nearly empty now, save for a shadow waiting by the black granite of the memorial wall. It's Lance Corporal Stevens. As they approach, he snaps to attention. No sarcasm this time, only rigid respect. He holds out a folded triangle of weathered fabric. My grandfather served at Viper, Stevens says, his voice thick. This flag was his. He'd want you to have it. Dorothy takes the flag. Her hands, steady on a rifle trigger just an hour ago, tremble slightly now. She steps to the wall, finding panel 3, line 47. Master Sergeant Jack Miller. She presses the cloth against the cold stone for a heartbeat, a silent conversation between ghosts before handing it to Ryan. Carry it, she commands softly. Heavy things are easier when shared. Ryan cradles the flag like it's glass. Footsteps crunch on the gravel behind them. Colonel Harrison and the Master Gunnery Sergeant approach. The colonel doesn't offer a job or a speech. He simply nods, holding up his phone. Interpol confirmed the arrest. Anonymous tip. Massive evidence dump. It's over, Mrs. Miller. The colonel offers a sharp, slow salute. Your file remains sealed. You were never here. I was just watching my grandson graduate, Dorothy replies, returning the salute with a casual grace that belongs to a different lifetime. They walk to the rental truck in silence. The threat is gone, but the world has shifted. Ryan opens the door for her, but pauses before getting in. Grandma. He looks at her, really looks at her, seeing the operator beneath the cardigan for the first time. Teach me. Dorothy pauses, hand on the doorframe. Teach you to bake? You know what I mean, what you know, what Grandpa knew. Dorothy studies him. The set of his jaw, the green eyes, the hunger to protect. It's Jack all over again. She sighs, a small smile touching her lips. The first lesson applies to cookies and crosshairs alike, Marine, she says, climbing into the cab. Precision is everything, and you were off by 2 knots today. Ryan smiles, climbing in beside her. As they drive out the main gate, merging onto the highway toward Tennessee, Dorothy Miller doesn't look back at the base. The war is over. The cookies are waiting, and for the first time in 20 years, the silence in her head isn't waiting for a target. It's just peace.
Thank you for watching REV Story. This channel shares stories of simple women who are often underestimated. So, if you enjoy quiet strength and powerful story, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and